Hello, friends. Let's start another topic for the day. Today we'll be covering this topic called as depreciation. Depreciation in layman term is called as wear and tear of assets over time. Okay, so whenever you purchase something, you have to make certain provisions for the same. Let's say in accounting, you must have heard this term provision for depreciation. Now, what does this mean? That when you buy an asset, this asset has a life, and after that completion of that life, you need to get a replacement asset. And during the period of this asset usage, we need to keep some profit separately so as to be ready to buy an asset at the expiry time period. Okay, so for this we use this concept of depreciation. In today's lecture we'll try to cover two topics. One is straight line value method and second one is diminishing balance method of depreciation. Okay, so you see what is the difference in these two methods. You'll understand that straight line value method has a common amount of depreciation which is same across years, any throughout the life of that asset. Depreciation amount is not going to change. Whereas in DB, diminishing value method, which is a more practical method of doing things, you see every year whatever depreciation is charged for, you reduce your asset accordingly, and depreciation is to be computed fresh on the reduced value. Okay, so practically if you go to motor insurance, every year you have to take a insurance for your motor vehicle. Now you see there we do apply this concept of written down value method. The second method is more practical in nature. Why? Because in straight line value method, you see how can you pay equal amount of depreciation all across years when the productivity of your asset is high in first few years and is going to be low in last few years. So it is better you keep high amount of provisioning in first few years and then keep a lower provision on a future date. Okay, so let's start with the topic. You see here three things are going to be there with you. One is your cost of your asset, which in this case is 1 lakh, life is 5 years, and salvage value is 25,000. Now what is salvage value? Salvage value is your scrap value, or it is your closing value which you will get by selling your scrap asset to a vendor. Okay, scrap dealer comes in. Let's say you have a concept called as kabadi wala. This kabadi wala will pay you something at the end. Okay, let's say you sell your newspaper to them, your books, old books to them, or let's say some machinery which is of no use, they'll pay you something according to some basic like calculations. Chali, let's go into this case. There are two formulas which are to be applied. Like for straight line value method, your formula is SLN. Okay, you are supposed to apply SLN for straight line value method, and for written down value method, your formula is DB. Okay, so these are the two formulas which are to be applied. Let's start with the first formula. Let me calculate the depreciation in this case where value is 1 lakh, life is 5 years, and salvage value is 25,000. So formula will be SLN. You see I'm using the same syntax, and when I'm pressing tab, you see system is asking me for cost. Where is my cost? This cell has my cost, so I'm doing cell referencing, comma, salvage value. What is my salvage value or scrap value? Is 25,000, comma, my life is this 5 years. When I press enter, what it means, for every year I have to pay a depreciation of 15,000. So let me you see here what I have done is, in one I'm going to deal with straight line value method. In second table I'm going to deal with my diminishing value method. So I'm making two schedules where you'll see how your opening value and closing value is being computed. Okay, let's start with first putting in your opening value. Opening value is nothing but this cost, which is 1 lakh. Same is the case in the second case where it is opening value is 10,000. Enter. I'm not writing manually, but I'm doing cell referencing. Okay, with this next is like in just a minute back we did a computation. In straight line value method, it is 15,000 rupee, which is same for across the years. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do right click, paste special. I'm taking values. Why I'm doing it is like if I don't take value, it will be actually a formula. Let me show you once again. When you click onto this cell, it is actually a formula. Okay. So if you simply copy the formula and try to paste it here, there will be a problem. Problem is cell referencing will change and it will lead to an output error. Okay, so in order to avoid any error, you are simply going to copy, paste special values, and you get your depreciation all across years as same. Okay, now next is your closing value. What is your closing value? Closing value is nothing. It is your opening value minus the value of depreciation that you have incurred in this year. So 85,000 is your closing value for first year. I hope you understand closing value of first year is going to be the opening value of next year. Let's say we buy something at the end of the year 2022, value is 85,000. So what is going to be the value of this same asset in year 2023? So same 85,000. So I'm not going to do much. I'm going to do equal to and then cell reference. So that in this I'm going to do something like, let's say, let me do it double click. You see what I'm going to do? I'm just clicking it twice. So system is generating the same output everywhere. Now, can you see it? Can you see this? Because both tables are interrelated, they're next to each other, hence there was a wrong error created here. Can you see this? We started with 1,85,000 first year closing value, 70,000 second year, 15,000 is your yearly depreciation which is being deducted. Now fifth year is what is your final year. Let me highlight it in some color. Okay, so if you see fifth year, what is your closing value? Fifth year, your closing value is 25,000. There is no sixth year, so this output is wrong. So let me delete it. So for life is 5 years, so you have to go for 5 years first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Depreciation is all across years same, 15,000 each. And similarly, you see this is your closing value. How you can validate whether your question is correct or not? This value, which is shown in 25,000. Here, let me make it red. This 25,000 is nothing but it is your closing value. You can match, okay, if these two values, salvage value and your closing value in table 1, which is like representing straight line value method, if it matches, is what you are doing right. It is all good. Okay, let us go to the second method where we are going to apply this formula called as DB. This is written down value method. Okay, so I'm putting in DB equals to DB bracket start. Again, it is asking for cost. This is my cost, comma, this is my salvage value, comma, this is my life. Okay, now you see what I need to do is like I have to mention them because this is yearly computation of depreciation. So yearly we do it only once, not every month. Okay, so what we are going to do is like I'm going to put in the period. The period in this case is nothing but here I mentioned it. Is it first year? Is it second year? Is it third year? Is it fourth year? Or is it 5 year? Because every year value is going to change. Okay, let me give a cell reference here and then I say enter. Now value is coming out to be how much? You see 24,020. Let me put this value here also, but there is an error because here you see reference cells are incorrectly picked up. Let me put in this formula once again. Equals to db bracket start cost is this value, comma, salvage value is this value, comma, life is 5 years, comma, then one more thing, which is which period are you calculating this? Month is we don't need, close the bracket, enter. Now you got this answer. But when you do double click, system will give you output for all the cells, but these output don't look okay. So come back again, double click on this. Now what we need to do is like we need to do self-fixing. Why? Because there is an error which is happening. Let me click on to this value. See the formula. Is your cost 25,000 in this case? No, it is 1 lakh. Is your salvage value equals to SLN? No, it is 25,000. So what is happening is like, because when you're dragging your formula down, side by side, your reference cells are also going down. So better is like, we need to come out of it, go to the primary cell where you have placed your formula. You need to fix it up, use function F4 to bring in dollar sign. So I'm fixing it up, function F4, function F4. What I'm going to do is like, I'm going to make cost same for all the executions. Life is also going to be the same. Salvage is also going to be the same. Which value is not going to change? For what period are you going to calculate? Is it first period, second period, third period, fourth period, or fifth period? You see, period is going to change. Hence, I am not going to fix it up. Rest, all three values are supposed to be same. Hence, I have fixed these cells. Okay. Now, you see, again, output is 24,200. But when I double click it, can you see correct output coming up? Now what next we need to do is like we need to do the same formula that we did for the uppercase. This is closing value equals to opening minus your depreciation amount. You press enter. One thing you need to note is 24,000, then 18,000, 13,000, 10,000 and 7,000. Depreciation is reducing over time. Here it was same over time. Hope you understand the difference between the two. Okay. So second year opening balance is nothing. The previous year closing balance only. Enter. Now you see I'll do double click it here and then I'll do double click it here. You see you're getting right output. Okay, when you click it for the first time, maybe some cells will have some error or negative value, which simply indicates that because some cells don't have any value, hence there is an error coming in. But when you double click on both the sides, you'll get this type of output. Now you see opening value is there, closing value is 57, opening 57, then closing is 43, 43 opening and closing 33, 33 opening and closing is 25. Now you see in DB method, another one thing to notice, when you are trying to see your closing value, which should be equal to salvage value, you may have couple of rupee variation. Okay, so in this straight line value method, accounting is very perfect. You'll get exactly 25,000. But in written down value method, there may be a slight variation, and it is all okay. No problem. Okay, so let me highlight this cell also. So this is again the second output with certain slight variation. This is how you need to compute your depreciation in both the cases. You see, these are the two cells where you have your formula application. Okay, let me make it all bordered too. And then what we did is, like, I made your depreciation schedule for both the techniques. This is how you have to attempt this topic. Hope you understand.